And Director General, International Institute of Professional Security, Tony Ofoyetan, joins us live for more on this. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing good, but really sad development here in the country for a security formation and architecture of this magnitude to be breached by bandits. Let's get your reaction to this. It's been tagged a national embarrassment.
I will not agree less with those that have tagged the national embarrassment. I actually looked at some variables and I asked myself how easy was it that such miscreants will be able to breach security architecture of a very hard target like the NDA. Having said so, I think I will agree with the Chief of Defense Staff that the probability and the ratio of insiders aid is more probably ratio 80 to 20. I agree with that to that extent. But I also want to crave the indulgence of the military formation to look at access control of hard targets all over the country. If you look at where this NDA is located, it's called a FACA or something like that. And from the information I had, I think it's just a few miles away from Benin Gwari, which is the hideout of major criminals, kidnappers, bandits, and the like in Kaduna. So if you look at the proximity, then it is expected that the military formation ought to have looked at the access control of such facility. But they took it for granted that since it's a hard target, that the criminals and terrorists would not have that mind. But if you look at the antecedent of what have been happening in the Northeast, there have been several attacks on barracks, military barracks, and the soldiers, and even at different intervals and at different places. So it is expected at this point in time, knowing full well what has happened in Afghanistan, that the Boko Haram set the headers and all the terrorist group, no matter the nomenclature you give them, will be more emboldened. There's this, a presumption that we can do it. If it can happen in Afghanistan, it can happen in Nigeria, and therefore we have to.
If I may quickly jump in here, because I don't want to lose your thoughts on nomenclature. Because it also looks like once there is a designated nomenclature, then we are bound to deal with it better. Because people think that we have been dealing with this issue of banditry with kid gloves. An aircraft, a military aircraft, was shot from the sky some time ago, and the person who did it was named. And yet, nothing has happened. You are the security professional here. What does it take to designate a group a terrorist group?
I think basically when a group is designated as a terrorist group, number one, it becomes an international thing. It's no longer a local affair. I think that is one thing the government is aware of. And also, there's also the Terrorism Prevention Act, which becomes applicable. There's also the maximum use of force, which becomes applicable. There's also, a lot of other security mechanisms are put in place to ensure that more or less like they are dealt with more brutally than the one you call bandits and the like, which ordinarily, grammatically are just meant to be thieves, highway robbers and the like. But from what we have seen now, if you remember, you have a flashback at what happened during Goodluck Jonathan's era, where he admitted that Boko Haram are already in his government. Then the question we have severally asked is, now we have successive government after that. Does that mean that the cell called Boko Haram or the sympathizers of Boko Haram or the sleeper cell are they now out of government? Now, because if you look at what is happening now, it seems like we have people in government that want to support. And when you take steps that seem to be against the act of terrorism, like some of us are saying, give all of them the same dealing, the same discipline. When you talk about headsmen, you talk about bandits, you talk about Boko Haram, all of them. So those of us in security, we call all of them terrorists, and that is the way they should be treated. Because terrorism has to do with the use of violence and force for the purpose of achieving a political aim or goal. Now, if you look at what is happening, the signature of these three sets are the same. If the Fulani headsmen, or the headsmen rather, have been identified by the Global Terrorism Index as the third most deadliest terrorist group in the world. I don't see any reason why the government cannot align itself with that position. Because not aligning yourself with that position is further emboldening them, is further encouraging them. So it's not just enough for government to say shoot aside. Now even the shoot aside order is being obeyed. So I also expect that the military formation should be more proactive. They should go to the hideout of this.
And that's what, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you, that's what people are hoping, that, you know, this attack becomes a motivation for the military, for security agencies to deal decisively with the Hydra-headed situation of insecurity we're facing in the country. Director General, International Institute of Professional Security, Tony Ofoyetan, thanks for talking to us.